That was a mail. I am happy. Hi friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing a book haul. This has been quite awaited, I feel like, or I've talked about hauling some books lately. It's finally happening. I have somehow managed to include some books in my recent spendings, and that actually makes me quite happy. I do have these lovely bookshelves that you can see in my bookshelf tour that I uploaded recently, and I'm very happy with how that one turned out. That's why I'm plugging it. As you might have seen in that one, I do have quite a lot of space in my shelves, which is awesome, which means that I can fill it with more books. So that's what I'm doing. So today I'll be hauling 14 books, I think. Most of these are recent buys. 2 of them are books I bought already in October, I think, or September, October. And then some books are actually library books. But in total, I'm gonna talk about 14 books today. It's quite a weird collection of books, if I get to say so myself. I probably would not see these books grouped together in any other place than this particular haul. So if you're curious about the books I have purchased recently, please stick around. Honestly, like, this stack is quite impressive, if I get to say so myself. I had originally planned to actually buy more books to fill up this haul even more, but now when I'm stacking them up like this, I realize that that's not really necessary. I have plenty to talk about. There are still a few more books I would love to buy in the near future. I don't need them now, obviously. I have plenty of things to read. The first 2 books I bought in September and they arrived in October. You have already seen me talk about this quite a lot, I think, or at least one of them. These are the 2 books I purchased in September. We first have Vinana, which is the 3rd book in the Beertown series by Fredrik Backman. This one was released on October 6th and it has so far only been released in Swedish. I think the English translation is being released in the spring of next year. I obviously don't have the Swedish book. I'm currently reading it for the Pokemon-a-thon. It's a chunky book. It's over 700 pages. This book follows the characters from the Beertown series, and the events of this book takes place about 2 years after the events of the first book. So that's interesting to see what have happened to the characters, how they have developed, how things are going in Beertown. This book is quite special to me. You might be wondering why. Well, that's because this book is signed. Yes, I pre-ordered this copy and I got it signed, and it's also stamped with the Beertown logo, which is really nice. When I bought this one, I also got these stickers. This is like the logo for the hockey club that this series is about. It's even more special to me now because I got it signed, I got to pre-order it. It's by my favorite author. It's possibly my favorite, like, it's not my favorite series, but like Beertown might very well be one of my favorite books of all time. That book did something to me. The second book I purchased was The Heart Principle. This book was released in, I think, August actually, and the reason why it didn't arrive earlier for me was because I purchased it together with Beertown. This one had to wait until the Backman book had been released. This is the 3rd book in the Kiss Quotient series. I really like the Kiss Quotient series. They're just great rom-coms. Romances with great tropes, great characters, good smut, solid romances. I love this series so much. The first book is the Kiss Quotient, the second book is the Bride Test. I've given both of them 4 stars. This is the 3rd and final book. They are like companion books, so they're not about the same characters, but it features the same characters, if you know what I mean. I so prefer the series to the Brown Sisters series, so I obviously had to get the 3rd one once it was released. These books are perfect for readathons. They are quick and fun. The Kiss Quotient I read for my romance reading vlog series, and the Bride Test I read for the Olympics-a-thon. So both of those books I read within 24 hours. I'm sure that this will also be a quick read for me. I might even read it for the Pokemon-a-thon because I need to read shorter books in order to complete that readathon. I've heard some mixed reviews on this one. It's not everyone's favorite from the series. Some seem to love it though. I don't know. I'm excited. I know it will be a good time. That's all I need. Now we can go to the books that I actually started buying once I had moved. These are in no particular order. I'm just gonna talk through them. The first book I have is Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerry Maniscalco. I don't know anything about this book other than the fact that I've seen it everywhere and people seem to love it, and that's enough for me. I think what motivated me to get this one was when I had like a live show or reading sprints together with some of my booktube friends, and one friend said that this book got her out of a reading slump, and that sounds promising. What is it about? It's about 2 sisters, 1 murder, a quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself. I know it's like Italian-inspired fantasy with like some supernatural elements. I don't know, it sounds promising. It looks good as well. I think this will be a fun time. I actually bought some graphic novels. I typically don't read graphic novels, but I've had these ones in my like different carts for different bookstores for ages, and I just bit the bullet and got them because they were also like fairly cheap when I got them. I got most of them off of Amazon, and for some reason the price was great. So why not pick it up? So yes, you can probably expect some sort of graphic novel related video in the future. So I got Saga Volume 1. It's about two soldiers from opposite sides of a never-ending galactic war who fall in love and make a family. And I think this story is being told from like their baby's point of view or something. People love this. I think it's like 8 or 9 volumes out at the moment, and people love this one. I'm intrigued by it because it is so popular and people really seem to love it. And I've only heard amazing things about it. So I'm excited to pick this one up. Another one that I've heard, I think it's mainly Becca from Becca and the Books who have talked about this one. A graphic novel that caught my attention is Rat Queens. This is also the first volume. Obviously all of these are gonna be the first volume because I haven't read them before. It's about a pack of booze-guzzling, death-dealing battle maidens for hire, and they're in the business of killing all the gods' creatures for profit. From what I gather, it's like about this girl gang, possibly that they are rats, who drink, sleep around, and are heroes. Sounds really grown up and good and cool. I'm excited about this one too. And then the final graphic novel I got, also because I saw Becca talk about it, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think this is like the rebooted graphic novel series or something like that. This is the first volume. It follows the same story, but it takes place in our times now, like in 2020. Yeah, because it's like texting and messages and stuff. And also I think like Spike shows up earlier in this one. He's already in this first volume, and in the series he shows up in season 2 and is more regular starting from season 3 and 4. I'm a sucker for anything and everything Buffy, so it was a no-brainer. I had to get this one. Hopefully I will love it. Now back to some more paperbacks. First off, we have Death in Her Hands by Otessa Morsveg. You might have seen my most recent video where I talked about authors I would love to read more books by. She's one of those authors. She's the author of My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I really love that book. It's very interesting, it's very different. I want to know what more this author has to offer. It's about a girl who's on her daily walk and she comes across a handwritten note basically explaining where somebody's dead body is, and she tries to solve this crime or this riddle or whatever it is. I don't know anything about it. I don't really want to know anything about it because I barely understood what My Year of Rest and Relaxation was about, and it completely tripped me out and like confused me. So I'm excited about this. I think it will be a good time. Next paperback is Angelfall by Suzanne E. Once again, I don't really know anything about these books. This has also been in my Amazon cart for a while. To be completely honest, the only reason why I've had this one in my cart and on my TBR is because of its name. I have a thing for like angels, angel wings, fallen angels, that sort of thing. It's a vibe, it's something I'm drawn to. I haven't heard that much about this series, but when I have heard about it or read the reviews on Goodreads, people say that it's one of the better books featuring angels, that it does it really good, and this is like what an angel book should be, which is a very good review in that regard. So it's about angels that have returned to Earth. They will destroy the world as we know it. When they fly away with a helpless little girl, her sister will do anything to get her back. I know it's like 4 books in the series, and if I like this one, I will definitely pick up the other ones because it looks cool. We also have Sharks in the Time of Saviors by Kawai Strong Washburn. Once again, I don't know a thing about this book. I saw Noelle talk about this one and she loved it and praised it to the heavens. So that's what motivated me to get this one. Also, like, the title just intrigues me and confuses me at the same time. It's about a 7-year-old who falls into the sea. Sharks take him, but then he's returned unharmed to his parents. And for the next 30 years, Noah and his siblings will struggle with life in the shadows of this miracle. It takes place in Hawaii. So it sounds cozy. But I think it will be one of those like deep literary reads that sort of kind of leans towards magical realism or like fantastical elements in it. What's it called then? Like speculative fiction or speculative fantasy, something like that. I think that's the genre of this one. I think it looks cool, I think it sounds cool, and it's Hawaii. Speaking of angels, I got Angel's Blood by Nalini Singh. Once again, anything angel related and I will pick it up and pay for it. We have the angel wings on the back, here on the cover. We have angel in the name. It's red. Could it be screaming my name anymore? I think not. I actually came across this one when I was doing my romance reading vlog in February, and someone recommended Nalini Singh's books. And my guess from that was that there's a lot of smut in it. And I know that this is an entire series. It's called like the Archangels series or something like that. First I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe. But then I just bit the bullet and got it. Funnily enough, it says angels, but apparently it's about vampires. Vampire hunter Elena knows she's the best, but she doesn't know if she's good enough for this job. Hired by the dangerously beautiful Archangel Raphael, a being so lethal that no mortal wants his attention. Only one thing is clear: failure is not an option, even if the task she's been set is impossible. Angels and vampires? And the cover is red? How could I not? How could I not? Also, it's even more hilarious because here on the back they have like check marks. So it's like check mark gothic. And then romantic has an even bigger check mark. And then we're back to action packed. Yes. Funny. Yes. Sexy. Huge check mark. Sexy, romantic, gothic. Action, funny. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I think this will be a good time, and I think Femke from Bookish Buddies loves this one. It sounds like trash, but it sounds like good trash. Speaking of books that friends love. This is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh, and my friend Esme from Bookish Buddies loves this one. It's her favorite book of all time. She reads this like every other month or something like that. It had never really intrigued me, but just during a recent conversation with Esme, I somehow just felt the urge to read it and buy it. What is it about? I know that it's a desert vibe book. That's all I know. Oh yeah, it's like a retelling of 1,000 Nights, I think. It's like a retelling of 1,001 Nights, because the way she stays alive is by continuing to tell enchanting stories, so he does not want to kill her. We'll see what I think of this one, but I'm glad I get to read one of my friend's favorite books. Those are all the books I have purchased. But as I said, I also have some books from the library. The first book I have in the stack is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, the second book in the Alcatraz series. I'm not sure if I'm prepared for this. This one is thick, or it feels crazy thick, but it's like, yeah, it's like 600 pages. That's insane. I read Alcatraz about a year ago. I only gave it 2 stars, so like 2.5 stars. But I know that everyone loves this one and prefers this one. I'm prepared for it to be like YA trash, so I'm not expecting to love it or anything like that. But I'm curious, and I've said this before, like the first book was all about Feyre and Tamlin. Like they were the thing, they were the it couple for that book. And then suddenly I know that Feyre is gonna end up with Rhysand in this book. And I don't know how, because Rhysand was a freaking dick in the first book, and Tamlin was like the god or whatever. But apparently after this book, everyone hates Tamlin and loves Rhysand, and I'm curious to see why. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, how does Mrs. Maas play this out so that she entirely switches the romantic interest? That's what I'm curious about. I don't think I will fall for either of them, to be honest, but I just want to know what the frick happens in this one to make it so that Rhysand is suddenly the good guy. Because I loathed him in the first book, like he was not it. I plan on reading this for Squash That series. We'll see if I actually make it happen or not. We then have The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. He's the same author who wrote The Silent Patient. I have not read that one. People have very conflicting opinions regarding this author and his books. I've heard that people love his books and I've heard that people hate his books, so I'm not sure. This one caught my interest. Might be the cover, it might be all the talk about him. I honestly don't know what this is about. I think it's like a thriller, psychological thriller, like a mystery thriller perhaps. I'm just interested to see what I will think of it. It is a book that was released this year. I wouldn't be surprised if this one shows up in Goodreads Choice Awards, so that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to read it, because that way I read one of the books from the Goodreads Choice Awards. The final book I got from the library is The Shane by Adrian McKinty. Not too sure what this is about, but just listen to this little blurb here on the first page. The only way to get your child back is to kidnap another child. So it's basically a horror thriller about this Shane, where some family gets their kid kidnapped, and in order to get their child back, they have to kidnap someone else's child. Victim, survivor, abductor, criminal, you will become each one. You are now part of the chain. Once again, I think I've heard like mixed reviews on this one. The story just intrigues me. I don't know that much about horror or thrillers to begin with, so I feel like this is like a good place to start for some reason. It could be fun with like how it plays with the human mind, and like makes people do bad things. I don't know, it sounds like it could be fun. And there we have it. These are my most recently hauled books. Aren't they lovely? Please let me know, have you read any of these books? Would you recommend any of them? Which book should I pick up first? Thank you so much for watching this haul, I really appreciate it. Please take care and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!
You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes